Damn, it's been a long time since I played Black Ops 2 Zombies, but looking at the gameplay right now, it's crazy how Black Ops 2 Zombies still holds up. You know, the atmosphere and the weapon sounds and the pacing. It really does kind of hit different compared to the modern Call of Duties, but I think it's the perfect backdrop for what we need to dive into what I'm talking about today. Because the entire COD community is absolutely losing its mind over the massive news that just dropped. So out of nowhere, Treyarch broke the internet by they didn't really break the internet, but they confirmed that Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 are officially coming to modern consoles next month, in July, just like tomorrow, 1st of July. But the announcement tweet alone, it became Treyarch's really like post right now. Um, for a hot second, a lot of people were celebrating, right? If you're a PlayStation player, you know the absolute pain of being completely locked out of these titles for over a decade, and unless you kept a dusty PS3 or you're on your PC or whatever, or the remastered version maps on Black Ops 3. But here's the thing, right? There's that initial wave of nostalgia, right? And everyone's ready to relive the golden era, drop right back into, Mob of the Dead or Origins, and just pretend the last 10 years of gaming slumps didn't happen. But then the other shoe dropped, and the corporate reality of it slapped the community in the face. I mean, Activision quietly went in and updated the storefronts and said, well, in doing so, they there's the pricing structure, and this is the problem everyone has, right? For these re-releases, they're locking the base games in at $40 each. That means if you want to play Black Ops 1 or Black Ops 2 just to have access on your current console, you're looking at an automatic $80 before you even touch a single map pack. And let's be entirely real here, like, you can't truly experience classic Treyarch Zombies without the DLC maps, even though here I'm just playing like the base maps. But to make it even worse, they didn't even bother to bundle the DLC into that $40 price tag. Instead, they structurally adjusted the store, dropping individual map packs down to $10 each, and cutting the old season passes right to $30. For a complete experience, buying both base games and both season passes means you're shelling out like around $140, something like that. I mean, some regional storefront numbers even push it closer to like $160. Like, for games that came out all the way back in 2010 and 2012, someone on Reddit pointed out that like charging $40 for a game that dropped during Obama's first term is that's crazy work. It's wild, right? But it's right. These games should be like maybe $20 max, with every single ounce of DLC baked into the file at this point. Let's just remember, this is a port as well, not a remaster. I think what makes this whole situation like a bit of a bitter pill to swallow is the fact that Treyarch explicitly confirmed these are straight ports, not remasters or remakes. I mean, they're bought in Iron Galaxy to handle the conversion work. There is no major graphic overhaul. There's no modernized multiplayer system. There might be a bit of a better graphic overhaul. I don't know, but like I don't think the multiplayer is gonna be any more modernized. There's no textures being rebuilt from the ground up. There's no native 120 Hz support being added, I don't think. I mean, you're essentially, I think, paying premium like AAA prices for a port studio to take 14-year-old code, like dust it off and dump it onto a new storefront. Nostalgia is a hell of a drug, and gaming companies know exactly how to weaponize it against us. I mean, they know how deeply people miss the simplicity of old school matchmaking. I miss it. I mean, shit, I'm an old ass. I still even though I'm 26, still play old games. Like I miss the custom emblem editors and the pure joy just running around circles around zombies without having to look up 40-minute YouTube tutorials just to open up Pack-a-Punch. But there's a massive line between preserving gaming history and executing like a latent, low-effort cash grab. And Activision crossed it kind of completely, right, with this pricing. That sucks. There's an ultimate value disconnect as well. Let's put it into perspective for a second, because the value proposition here makes absolutely zero sense when you look at the wider gaming landscape right now. We're literally on the horizon of massive industry-shifting titles, like GTA 6, for example. When a game like that drops, it represents like an entire decade of development, cutting edge tech, massive open world, and thousands of hours of voice work and design. That's what we'd probably classify as a true next-gen experience. But Activision expects us to look at a $140 price tag for 2 games that we already brought, played, and mastered over a decade ago. You're paying double the price of a brand new ground-up masterpiece just to play Die Rise on a DualSense controller. Great. It's corporate audacity at its finest at this point. I think they're kind of banking entirely on the fact that gamers are impulsive, right? And there's an emotional pull of our childhood memories that will completely override our financial common sense. If you look at how Activision has treated their legacy titles on PC for the last 10 years, this shouldn't really surprise us. If you go on Steam, Black Ops 2 has still been sitting at a ridiculous premium price. Same for Black Ops 3, by the way. Good thing there's a Steam summer sale right now. Thank you, Gaben. But like, they refuse to give these games permanent legacy price cuts, right? Because they know it keeps people trapped in the modern Call of Duty ecosystem. I mean, don't even get me started on Black Ops 7. I mean, I didn't even play that, but I know Modern Warfare 4 is coming out, but like, what is happening? Or why is there a new game every single year? Why can't you just take 2 years, make a really, really good game, really good Call of Duty game? None of the whole like skins bullshit, none of the whole fucking, I don't know, like season passes, none of the whole like all of that. Like, really? Can you not drive revenue like back in the days just by releasing a fully fleshed out game? I mean, how much more hungry can you get, I suppose, right? If the old games are too expensive, casual players give up and they just buy the newest $60 or $70 entry instead. But they're bringing that exact same anti-consumer strategy straight over to the console space now, right? And sometimes I beg the question, like, why are we so desperate to go back? But you kind of have to ask yourself why the hype for these ports were so massive in the first place before the pricing leaked. It's because the current state of Call of Duty has left longtime fans feeling completely alienated is the answer to that. People are utterly exhausted by the modern live service gaming model. If you boot up modern COD title today, you aren't greeted by a clean, simple military shooter. You're flash-banged by a bloated UI disaster of a menu trying to sell you a $25 battle pass before you can even click on multiplayer or single player or campaign. Fuck the campaign. Why don't you season pass? And you know what I mean? Like, fuck you. But you jump into a match and you're playing against people dressed as superhero crossovers, like fucking pop stars like Nicki Minaj, or literal glowing anime characters sliding across the floor at 90 miles an hour. Look, the immersion here is totally gone. The tactical feel is gone. And everything is driven by strict, aggressive, skill-based matchmaking, and it turns a casual Tuesday night session into a sweaty tournament final. Look, classic Black Ops 1 and 2 represent a time when gaming was just about having fun with your friends. I remember those crisp days when I was 12 years old. You just hopped in the lobby and you trash talked the opposing team, and you stayed in the exact same lobby for 10 matches in a row, made rivals or made friends. The multiplayer had a natural flow to it. The weapons, they had distinct personalities, and you didn't even have to look up a meta loadout guide to figure out what 50 attachments made your gun viable. Yet, people are desperate to escape this, like, optimized to death nature of modern gaming, right? That paying $40 for a 14-year-old port actually feels like a escape route. Now, there's an art to classic zombies, and I love zombies, but don't get me started on how much better the zombies mode was back then as well compared to what we get now. Look, I know I'm trying so hard not to get annoyed here, but there is an eerie, like, isolated, almost horror movie atmosphere to the classic Treyarch zombies that modern developers have completely forgotten how to replicate. Modern zombies feel like an asset flip. They took the massive Warzone maps, right? They dumped some generic zombie AI into the open world. They added a contract system. What's a contract system? An extraction timer, and call it a day. There's no tension. There's probably no soul here, but it just feels like an extraction shooter, right? With a horror skin slapped over it. Back in the Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 era, every single map felt like a good masterpiece of world building. I mean, think about walking through the foggy, like the terrifying chaos of transit. So think about transit, right, for the first time, and hearing like the denizens, or praying the bus wouldn't leave you behind in the dark, or the narrative design of Mob of the Dead, right, like through Alcatraz. There's that cinematic soundtrack playing in the background. or the sheer scale of Origins, right? Look, even the simpler survival maps like Town Farm or Kino der Toten, they had a specific identity too. The mode was built on simple, addictive gameplay, but a gun off the wall, hit the mystery box, you know, get your perks, see how long you can survive against the horde. It didn't hold your hand. It didn't have waypoint markers all over the screen, and it didn't feel like a daily chore list. Now, there's a security nightmare I don't think nobody's talking about. It's a bit of a red flag, right? Beneath the surface of this whole release, and it's maybe, I don't know if this is the tangent here, but there's something that could ruin the experience for anyone who actually decides to shell out the cash. If these are just straight ports running the exact same legacy code, that means all the structural like vulnerabilities from a decade ago are still built into the game. So I do really hope they fix that, you know, at least. Anyone who's tried to play Black Ops 2 on PC, they know multiplayer is a complete wasteland, right, of modders and hackers. That's why people use what is that software that a lot of people use? Plutonium. Right, yeah, Plutonium, that's the one. The biggest issue of Black Ops 2 back then, well, back in the day, was how the features and cheats to spread like an actual virus, right, from one player's theater files directly into live matchmaking lobbies. You didn't even need a modded console. You just watched a clipped video in someone's theater, and suddenly you had aimbot, wall hacks, and infinite stats in public matches. If Iron Galaxy doesn't completely rebuild the network security, and let's say the block dev kits or the test kits, or at least accessing the new retail servers, I'm hoping these PlayStation lobbies aren't going to be ruined by hackers. But imagine dropping, you know, $80 for the 2 games, you know, just to have a trip down memory lane only to jump into your first match on Raid or Standoff, and then you get instantly dynamic reset by a 12-year-old with a mod menu. People are going to find the hard way, right? That the road to nostalgia is completely broken if the network code isn't even modernized. I think maybe all of this kind of forces you to just step back and urge you to ask yourself maybe how much a memory is actually worth. I think we all want to go back to days when the biggest stress in life was whether or not you were going to pull the ray gun out of the box on round 4. But like, I think this type of, like, this pricing to the core of it, just circling back, it's not great. I would have maybe assumed, or I would have expected a better pricing, right? Maybe the only real good gesture Activision can throw at you, but I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm definitely torn on it, right? A huge part of me wants to boot up, you know, like right now, a huge part of me wants to boot up all the older games as well. But looking at the price tag, right, it is a bit of a tough sell. Let me know in the comments if anyone is even watching this video, if you're actually willing to drop that kind of cash. Maybe I've said a few things that could be incorrect, but let me know. It's just a rambling, so